You guys, I was literally cold while I was doing my makeup. The second, but then the second I get in front of you, I get anxious and I start sweating. I have on this tiny humidifier thinking that's going to save me, but we're just gonna hope for the best. Yeah, because I'm gonna go get a wet rag. I'm back. You know those things that are like filled with gel and you can like put them in the refrigerator or the freezer and they get really cold and you can just wear them around your neck? That's what I need right now. It would probably look a lot nicer. But dude, I'm like freaking anxious. And I'm hot and I don't want to start sweating because it's literally only like 9 o'clock in the morning and I have no reason to be anxious. But this kind of fits in perfectly to what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. We are much in need for more talking videos. And I apologize that my brain's been a little bit funky and I have not been performing the way I should be performing in life in general, okay? So I told myself, because today's topic is I need to calm down, I'm a little excited. Today's topic, that's why you're sweating. Today's topic is all about programming. And I think we are all in need of a better understanding of what's programming us, how we've been programmed, what this programming means, and the results of it, okay? Because I think we kind of all have an understanding of how programming works, of how things can influence us, but I think we need to have a talk about it, all right? So I was in the middle of reading a book yesterday. I've been trying to finish it because we are like 3 years past a book recommendation video. But yeah, so I was reading this book and I was deciding to take notes in my notebook alongside annotating, just because I feel like my brain kind of remembers things better and I can look back at my notes and read what I thought was important, right? So I was doing that yesterday and I was like, Sarah, I like what we're writing down. I like where your mind is going. So let's do a little talking video and write down some notes of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So grab a iced tea if you are hot, grab a tea if you are cold, grab a snack if you are hungry. If there's even just a little voice in your head that's like, yeah, maybe I'm a little hungry, I'm not satisfied, go grab a snack, okay? Yeah, because I just want to sit down and hang out with you and talk to you a little bit. Because like I said, this is very overdue, and I also need you to cut me a little bit of slack because it's been a while since I've gone off of notes while making a video. Sometimes I know or see that it's better when I just kind of vent, not even just vent, but just spew like a faucet as opposed to going off of like bullets that I wrote down. But I wanted to keep this kind of in order. So we are going to talk about programming. When I was writing down these notes, I wanted to write down a list of the things that I think are major programmers, right? And what I mean by programming is we're kind of like a little computer or a little phone. We're a walking phone, you know? And there's certain things that can happen in our lives that program us to behave a certain way, act a certain way, carry ourselves a certain way. And I think a lot of us aren't necessarily aware of all of the different types of things that are out there just trying to pry at our well-being, at our mental health, and in our space of mind. And I think our headspace and how we feel mentally, physically, spiritually is a huge indicator of how we are currently programmed. I think that as time passes or as we are just busy with life, we don't necessarily understand or notice how much our subconscious is being programmed, and with that being programmed, it programs us. And sometimes in ways that aren't really beneficial for us, okay? So I went ahead and I wrote down all of the things that personally I found have either programmed me or things I notice in others, okay? So I'm going to just go ahead and start. And again, if you want to take notes with me as we go along, go ahead. If you want to pause real quick and write down some of the things that you think have programmed you throughout your life, go ahead and write those down, and then just press play and see if your list like matches mine. And let's just see. But yeah, so here is my list of things that I feel have programmed me: school, daycare, parents, religion, sports, diet, working out / fitness, coaches. So I know that kind of fits hand in hand with sports, but coaches, relationships, friendships, social media, celebrities / musicians, spiritual gurus, books / authors, habitual thought patterns, family, news outlets, politicians, past experiences, drugs or drinking, and dreams. So I sat down and I was like, what, even if it wasn't as negative or it's something you don't even think about too much, what is something you feel like in your past has programmed you or made you into who you are today, right? We can even put it that way. What has made you and influenced you to be who you are today? You run a certain way, your body's programmed a certain way, so how'd you get here? What happened? So I wrote down all the things that popped into my head. I was like, okay, well, I remember a long time ago when I was little, I had to go to daycare before I even started preschool, and I vividly remember learning things there, playing with kids there. I remember being programmed on how to act like a human, right? How to behave when you're away from parents. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how often I was in sports and how even though some things weren't talked about in sports, me observing the girls around me programmed me to be a certain way, to act a certain way, to treat my body a certain way, and to like even perceive body hair, things like that. So I want you to write down a list of all of the things that you feel have had at least a little itch on your body. You know, what has etched itself into you that like I said, makes you go about your life the way you do, makes you make the patterns you do, the habits you have, the routines, the relationships. So what's gotten into you? So the reason why I wrote all those things down is because I personally feel that programming can leave us with a set of beliefs that we then carry forth acting through, right? So, for example, what we learn through religion, what we learn through school, what our parents teach us, or say what a significant other has told us about how we need to carry ourselves, present ourselves, or how we are. When we have all of these things kind of influencing us, or not really mirroring us, but just kind of showing us a little bit about how you should act, how we should change how we are acting, I feel like that leaves us with a set of beliefs or kind of like a assumption of how we should go about. And these aren't innate thoughts, you know, these aren't things that one day we just woke up and we're like, oh, out of just spontaneously, just feel this way, you know. Things influence us, and our subconscious holds on to things way more and way stronger than we would expect. So I feel like all of these things on my list, it leaves me with a set of beliefs that I live through. And if I'm not careful and pay attention to the things that are programming me or influencing me, I don't think I'm as aware of the beliefs that I carry. And your beliefs ultimately shape your reality. It shapes how you perceive things, how you act, how you take in stories, you know? And that's why I think this is so important, is because if we have this set of beliefs that soon start to solidify into our personality, then I think we feel lost. Another reason why I think it is so important for us to gain awareness and become a little bit enlightened upon how our personal programming, okay? Yes, we're collectively being programmed as a whole. I mean, that's what society is. They make money off of it. They benefit off of everybody, you know, under the same control, under the same program. We have a whole outside influence trying to control us, alongside an internal narrative that is programming us and controlling us. I feel like we can feel completely lost, right? Because we feel completely out of control if our inner thoughts are chaotic and the outside world is trying to make us think, act, breathe, be a certain way. We're just like, what the heck, right? And something that I also, know for a fact is that past experiences can remind us of certain things and reactivate previous programming. So say we had a horrible relationship in the past, we thought we moved away from it, years have gone by, and then all of a sudden something happened and we find ourselves back in the same mindset and we're like, oh my God, I feel like I did like 2 years ago. Like, oh my like everything is back, my anxiety is back. Like it's almost like we reopened the old program, you know? And I've even been noticing this with my dreams. There will be times where my dreams can be so intense and so either strange or awkward or just really personal, or say I have a dream about somebody that I haven't dreamed about in years. Those dreams can trigger past programs. And I've noticed this, and I noticed this happened to me a few days ago. I had a dream that just, man, I felt like I backtracked just because of my dream, and I feel like I don't even have control over my dreams. So when I woke up, I was just like, what the heck? Like, why do I feel this way? I thought I was better, you know? But it's me understanding that I'd been programmed and that program is still in me. And it's like a notification that pops up on our phone that there's a virus. You know, hey, there's something wrong. You visited the wrong website. See, like the system is shutting down. So programming from either earlier or past programming can be reactivated. And I think that's also something that we need to kind of understand. So when that happens, we know why that's happening. You know, we aren't just stuck in a rut. I'm not just walking around like a headless chicken, you know? Not just like emotions, past programming can be triggered and it can be reactivated. So that's also why I wanted to talk about this. So when that does happen, we know how to kind of manage it, handle it, and get ourselves back to a level ground of, okay, time to reset. These things that are popping up are warning signs. They're red signs that something's wrong with the program. This is why our programming is so important to gain awareness and focus on. And again, that's why I'm mentioning not just as a collective, I'm not speaking for all of us. I need you to understand this on a personal level. On a personal level, you are your programmer. Your program is so detrimental and is so much more important than my program, or how I go about trying to explain how my program works, right? You don't want to just take and steal somebody else's program and put it in your hard drive and think that you're going to understand how it works, right? And we don't want to do that. We want to build from scratch. We want to start new, because if we designed the program, we know how it works. If there's a crack or a break in the system, we know how to fix it because it's our program. We control the system, right? We're not allowing outside influences, coaches, school, relationships, sports, fitnesses, food, drugs and alcohol, any of these things. They're not allowed to tamper with our program, because we have a set blueprint for how things are supposed to be, right? So again, that's why I just want to keep reiterating how important your individual program is. How important it is to understand and write down and see where it's at. Our brains are just like a computer. It processes by means of which it was given, okay? Like I had said, what happens when a computer all of a sudden gets a virus, right? It starts shutting down. It starts going way slow. Things don't load anymore. You might get stuck on the home screen. So you might even see somebody controlling your mouse for you. And you're like, yo, what is this? Regardless, the system will not work properly, right? So if we take a look at our program and we even think like, dang, there is a little red flag popping up when I think about my attitude, or when I think about my thought patterns, when I think about how I feel when I wear clothes, when I do my makeup. If there's just one small red flag, that means there's something wrong with the program as a whole. You can't just mask that over. You can't just exit it out, mark it, put it in the background, archive it. You can't, right? You can pretend it's out of sight, out of mind, like I mentioned in the last video, but it's there. It's in the forefront, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse and soon break us down. And I feel like that's where a lot of us are. I personally even feel like that's where I am. I feel like my programming has gotten to such a whacked out reality that it's not working. It's not functioning. And me, myself, I'm lagging. I'm not thinking correctly. Like I literally feel like there's a bug in my head that I need to wipe the system clean. Like I literally need to buy a whole new empty hard drive. And like I said, reprogram myself. And I know I can't be the only one. Times are so crazy right now that I know a lot of us probably feel like our computer and our program is just completely broken. The one outside is completely broken. If our inner program is broken, we're just like, bro, might as well just give up and walk along the broken pieces with everybody else, you know? Not understanding that we don't have to pick up those pieces and put it back together. We can completely start new. What are some of these red flags that might be coming up in our system? Because I wrote some down, you know? I wanted to think to myself even, what is wrong with your program, okay? And what are some ways to see, all right, it's time to stop. So the first one that I had down was bad dreams and negative thinking. So we are nurturing, loving, caring, creative, imaginative beings, right? We don't have in our DNA, you know, enough room for negative thinking about dreams, because that negative thinking, whatever our thoughts become patterns become habitual lifestyles, and it becomes our personality, right? So our thoughts can become us, and that's where I'm kind of getting into. Our programming is basically our thoughts, right? That's our computer system, our mind, our brain. That's the first red flag. If you find yourself thinking so negative, I know we all have a point in our lives. I don't care if we were 4 years old or 6 years old or if we were 16. We have a point where we felt on top of the world, right? We didn't care how we looked. We thought we were the most stylish out there. We thought we were the most popular. We didn't have any negative thoughts. I remember I always used to be like that. But then, you know, the program started being weird. Life started showing me weird things. And the stuff that I had on my program didn't allow me to comprehend or understand what I was seeing. So it negatively impacted me, right? So now I can see where my negative thoughts come from. And my program is like flashing, dude, there's something wrong. Like, we can't work from this point anymore. We have to start new. So negative thoughts, bad dreams, that is a red flag. There's something wrong in the system, right? Stuff is popping up that's not beneficial, it's not motivational, and it's not peace. If you have a problem with anxiety in school, do this. I wish I would have been doing this. This is the first time I've actually ever done this. So I highly recommend, if you have like anxiety or just a problem overheating, from me to you, even get like a really cute thick scarf. Maybe people would think you're weird, I don't know. We'll talk about that another day. So what else? Bad dreams, bad visions, bad thoughts, right? If you always find yourself comparing people, judging people, if you feel really alone, and I know there's something wrong with my program when I'm being quiet. So if Sarah's quiet, I can tell something needs to be administered before it becomes, like we said, a computer virus. I don't even think I should be saying that word. I'm gonna get flagged. You can't say certain words with the algorithm anymore, you guys. I swear to God, I will be censored just because I'm saying that word, even though it doesn't have anything to do with health, just metaphorically speaking. I need to find a new word, a bug, all right? When there's a bug in the system. So like I said, when I find myself just comparing, if I noticed one day, and I'm currently working on it, I was just like being very weirdly judgmental. So in a way, like, why is she wearing that kind of nail polish? Why would they do that? Why would he walk like that? Why? And it was just like, I just could tell that there was something wrong, okay? Another huge indicator that there is a bug in the system is if you're scared. If you're scared or if you're stressed, there's something wrong. You guys, we don't need to be working from a place of fear or stress. I promise you, it will hurt us, it will hinder us, it will start affecting our health. It will spiral downhill, okay? Procrastinating. If you find yourself procrastinating, there's something wrong in the system. Like I said, we are creative, wanting to be doing things. Animals, we're creatures, we want to explore, right? So if we find ourselves just sitting around not wanting to do anything, if we're using social media as a means of procrastination, if we're using a TV series as a means of procrastination, sure, we're being entertained and some like dopamine is being released, but we're letting time fly, right? And we're not having fun. It's like we're on autopilot, okay? If your habits are shifting, your eating habits, the way if you're working out and you've noticed the workout it's not working out. But especially like with eating, if you start noticing things are just a little, something's off and you're like, I don't know what it is, but there's something off, I'm feeling weird. These are just red flags to kind of sit down with yourself and say, all right, I have all of these red flags. It's no wonder my system is failing, you know? It's no wonder I feel like a stick in the mud. If you've noticed that, you know, you're not doing your hair anymore, you're not taking care of your skin, you don't really care what you wear, these are all red flags too, you know? And I only wrote these down for me personally because, like I said, I can tell when I need some work and reprogramming when I don't care about fashion, you know? I could even sit down and say to myself, Sarah, when was the last time you did a real fashion lookbook? I used to love doing lookbooks. I still do, but something just happened with my program and I ignored the red flag and years passed and I realized like, dang, you're reverting back into this almost tomboy style, but it's not giving you the confidence that it used to, you know? It was almost like, not, you know how the clean girl aesthetic is like this on the pedestal right now? I was literally like lazy girl, sad girl, not wanting to be in the world girl. So when I noticed that, I'm not really finding a reason to do my makeup. Like I used to find an excuse to look like I was going to prom every day. I don't care if it was just school, you know? I don't care if I had to go to the gas station. When I find myself not having that little, come on, let's get ready for the world. Let's just go out. I can tell there's something wrong. The three other things I have on my list of red flags is comments by others. So if you hear other people be like, hey, you know, are you feeling okay? Like I remember one time, I was just sitting there, but everybody kept asking me if I was okay. Like somebody's like, Sarah, are you sure you're okay? And I would like smile like, no, I'm fine. Like I'm fine. We're not okay. If other people are noticing that our little boat, our little home, our temple, if it's not shining, if it looks like the lights are on and no one's home, those are red flags, you know? So we are harsh on ourselves sometimes, you know, and we don't need to be. But when other people are giving us constructive criticism, or say somebody's even being an ass about it, like, Sarah, you're being a bitch. Yo, you don't look good. Why do you look a mess? Yo, you look like you're tired. These can be just, maybe there's something wrong with my program, because you know you're not a tired looking girl. You know you're not a I want to be out of this world girl. You know that, right? And other people know that too. So I think it's also very helpful, beneficial. If you yourself notice something is up with one of your friends, one of your family members, say something. Ask them if they're okay. If you haven't heard from somebody in a while, cool, they might be busy, but just make sure there's not something wrong with their program, you know? Because like I said, sometimes that bug can get so deep inside the system that we don't even have the ability to scream for help anymore. It's like something, it's blocking. Everything that is supposed to work, it's not working. So, you know, make sure you are there for others too. Even if you're going through a hard time, your program needs reprogramming, make sure other people are not there, you know, being left in the dust too. Maybe they need to be reminded that it's okay to shut down, turn it off, throw it away, and buy a new one. Get a whole new hard drive, a new copy, a new computer, a new MacBook, whatever you're wanting. Even if it's just a new notebook to write down your own programming. You're a handwriting programmer. By all means, by all means. Low energy levels and trouble sleeping. Those are the last two on my little list of red flags to there's something wrong with the program. But if your energy is just really, really low, you find yourself tired all the time, or you're finding yourself wanting to sleep, your body is draining and your mind is drained, again, there's something wrong with the program. You need an update. Something needs to be upgraded, you know? What happens when you upgrade your phone? Things start working faster. Oh my God, you see emojis available that you didn't even know existed, right? When we upgrade our program and rid of the old, we literally elevate ourselves to a higher position to where you can see more. If you're down at ground level, you can't see much. That's why all the watchdogs are at the watchtowers looking down at everybody, like eagle eye, you know what I mean? When you're above, you can see a lot and you can understand more. When you're at ground level, it's kind of hard. It's really hard. It's very hard. So low energy levels and trouble sleeping, other people saying things. I think we all know when something's wrong with our program, but I also think it's nice to be reminded of, you know, just signs to look for. Sometimes we don't know what to look for, and that's okay, right? How can you search for something if you don't know what you're looking for? Or like I said, if there's a bug in the system and you're trying to press search, but it's not going, the search engine part of the system is just it's malfunctioning and broken, you can't even feed yourself the right thoughts, right? So our intuition is always trying to give us the most valuable information. If we have a program that isn't even open ears to our own intuition, our own consciousness, our own empathy, our own sympathy, it's like we're walking around with blindfolds and headphones on, right? We can't see anything, we can't take anything, we can't hear anything, we can't speak. Like, you might as well be in like a self-deprivation tank. Sensory deprivation. Yeah, you self-deprived yourself. Okay, so after I wrote down my little list of things that we need to look for, red flags in the program, I wrote down a couple little things. So, sometimes our ego builds and shapes our programming. When we start to see and notice where our programming comes from and that it is no longer benefiting us, we can start to connect the dots and see why we are experiencing our current struggles. Sadly, a lot of us are reaping what we have sown from incorrect and wrong programming. We feel a collapse, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. But this collapse is really a breakthrough, you guys. It's an end to an old program and a place of rebirth and enlightenment. That's what I think is so important, you guys. A lot of us might feel like our whole world is collapsing around us. Maybe you feel like your relationship is collapsing. Maybe you feel like your job is collapsing. Maybe you feel like your self-confidence is collapsing. What I think that's a sign of is that our ego was what was programming us. And when you are programming from a wrong sense of being, it will never work out. It will never follow through. But that breakdown, like I said, the collapse of the program, us understanding, yo, this isn't working, that is the best breakthrough. You literally cracked your own matrix. You beat the system. You literally beat the system, and you're able to now become a coder of your own world. From this point on, it is detrimental to keep our beliefs and thoughts open-ended. Right in the beginning, what was I saying? One of the main things that programs us: our thoughts, our beliefs, our religions, our perceptions. You know, think about when we were kids. All of us believed in Santa, right? We didn't keep that thought open-ended. We never thought of the possibility that this might just be a story. Maybe this dude never existed, right? So we lived through a set of beliefs. I know this is a funny example, but it's because we were kids. But heck, I remember I believed in Santa until I was like 14 years old. Until I don't remember what cracked my code and made me realize, yo, you're living through a program of a child, if that makes sense, which is great. It lasted and it made my childhood amazing. But I can't work from the same program I worked from when I was 6, when I'm 16, or the program when I was 16, when I'm 26, right? That program then worked. It did great, right? It helped us. But we need to understand that that programming that we had then, it still wasn't correct, right? Because that's what life is about. It's about learning. It's about evolving. And when I say it's so detrimental and important to keep our beliefs open-ended, because if we're stuck with believing something like, oh yeah, this world is shit, then it is, right? That's literally the reality of what it is. We have to keep our thoughts open-ended. That's why I think the world and this life is so extravagant. It is so crazy. It is so beautiful. All the bullshit I've been through, I can still say with my chest open and high, life is beautiful, and it is such a crazy and mysterious journey that every day I am so excited to try to go find something new. I can learn something new. I can teach myself something new. The possibilities are freaking endless, you guys, but it's because I haven't closed a door and locked it. I haven't closed my door and said to myself, all right, this is how it is. This is how we came to be. This is why humans are here on Earth. This is what we're on. Guys, we could be a small air hole in a sponge, you know? If you don't have any set beliefs for anything, I could see how me saying that is kind of like, well, then how do you have confidence in something if you don't, like, you know, you don't have a solid ending to something? I trust and I believe in an adventurous world. And I believe that if we keep exploring and understanding how intense this world is at controlling, right? I'm talking about, like, I gave you the list, news outlets, social media, celebrities, musicians. Like, I don't even think we understand how influential these song lyrics to songs are that we sing and repeat in our heads 24/7, right? It's so interesting how we can be programmed from so many different avenues, right? And I think once we gain awareness as to, damn, why is it that The world wants so much control over my brain. Why does the world, like, why do they feel like it's their obligation to feed me all the information, to tell me what to eat, to tell me what to drink, to tell me where to live, to tell me how to live, to tell me what to dress? I watch a makeup tutorial and she tells me how to do my makeup, how to wear my lipstick, right? You listen to celebrities and they tell you this is how to have confidence, this is how to do this is how to get rich. Everything is trying to program us. Why? Because they don't want us thinking for ourselves. The biggest thing you can do is think for yourself. Do you know how many people are in a daze? How many people are hypnotized? How many people seriously don't think for themselves because their program does not allow it? It's literally what they want. They can feed and leech off of a programless person. Because you know what? All they have to do is take their hard drive, stick it in, and it, like they said, birds of a feather flock together. Sheep mentality, because sheep are programmed to just follow one another. They're just a pack mentality in a negative sense. We don't want that, you guys. And that's why I think once we realize how many things are trying to control us, like even certain self-help books, they're not even helping us, you know? And that's why we keep going back for more and more. It's because one, we're trying to read somebody else's program and then try to add that to ourselves as opposed to understanding like, dang, I am the creator of my experience. My imagination will literally dictate my reality and where my thoughts can go. My beliefs set my standards. If we understand all of this, I told you, you're breaking the matrix. You can never act like a program is complete and finished, because like I said, at 6 years old, at 7 years old, we thought we knew it all. We thought fairies were real. We thought the tooth fairy was coming to help. If we would have closed that book and finished it there, oh my God, we'd be living in a world of fantasy, missing out on the mysteries of reality, right? We have to leave room for updates as well. Say you're doing well, but you just have one little red flag and you're like, damn, my programming has gotten me to an amazing position. I see one little red flag. Leave room for updates. Because like I said, if you don't leave room for updates, if you don't update yourself because you need to, say it's been like a week or two since you've sat down with yourself and been like, how am I going about life? How do I feel? You know? That's even an update itself. When you sit down and write a list of red flags and you say, okay, I'm going to get that out of my program before that bug completely manifests itself into my mind, thinking for me, I'm going to get it out of here. All right. And you know what? I've been doing really, really good when it comes to self-love and self-care. I just need to upgrade a little bit. Let's turn the mark up a little bit. Let's wake up an hour earlier. Let's eat a little more. Little things like that. If you leave room for the small upgrades, it's almost like there's no room for the bugs to come in. You're like building a force field that just keeps growing as opposed to shrinking, developing small holes, and allowing all these negative programs to come inside of us, right? Because if we have all these like holes in our mind and in our being, and physically, mentally, spiritually, if we have a little hole that we don't pay attention to, we don't plug, we don't put a flower through, plant a seed, that hole will become a black hole, a vacuum, and it'll just start sucking in everything. And a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. So if your insides are cluttered with just a whole bunch of dirty, nasty programming, do you see why it's so hard to even get up and feel good? It's impossible, right? So we need to have room for our updates. And we need to allow our individual programming to be our safeguard, okay? We need our program. My program has to be my safeguard, not yours, not hers, not my neighbor, not anybody else, not my mom, not my dad's. Their program cannot be my safeguard. I cannot rely on anybody else's program. What if my data blows up that program, right? What if I try to put my experiences, my perceptions, my emotions on a program that isn't even built for me? It's not going to work. The disk will eject. It'll be spit out, and then you'll be like, dang, I'm really lost. I don't even have my own program to rely on. I thought I could rely on their program, but it didn't work. The world's program, no, you guys, please do not trust the outer world. Our own program needs to be our safeguard. Your relationship is not your safeguard. Your mom, like I said, your mom and dad are not your safeguard. You here, this whole little vessel, this needs to be your safeguard, and how you program it will determine your reality, I'm telling you. And your experiences are a direct result of your programming. If you go out there and you feel like everything you experience is horrid, only bad things happen to you, the world is nasty, just everything you experience is horrible, it's because you've programmed yourself to experience horrible things. The programming is just haywire. It is up to us to rid it of its flaws. So that's kind of where it comes from. You can't, like, you have to fix your happiness before you make other people happy. You literally have to rid yourself of your own flaws. You can't rely on other people to fix your programming. You can't just call a dude and be like, hey, yo, you know how to code computers. Do you mind coming and trying to fix my shit? No. Outside sources, please. No. This is where self-work, self-love, self-help really shows and really is put to the test, right? It is literally up to us to rid our entire system of any flaws. That's why I said it's so important to write down these red flags, because the second you see them, you can be like, all right, what do I need to do to dig that up and get it out of my garden before I have a weed garden and all of my flowers are just suffocating. We are in control once we take back control of our own programming. We need to build a force field to block negativity from transmuting itself into a trespasser of your program. So again, like I said, and I promise you guys, it's not easy to control our own program. It's really not. And I think that's why so many people have just given up and handed their program to somebody else or adopted somebody else's program, you know? But that's when it turns deadly. When you hand over your program, what you return back with will be so foreign. It will be so strange. You guys, that's just something that you cannot hand over. You cannot hand over the control to your programming to anybody, to a teacher, to your parents, to a diet, to a sport, to fitness, to an author, to drugs, to drinking, to a politician. Do not hand over the control to your program anywhere. Do not let anybody tell you what to do. Don't let anybody tell you how to perceive things. I'm telling you, this world is out to control us. It's out to get us. Every walk and every avenue, somebody's trying to get you. And I think understanding that is putting up a force field of our own. It's putting it up on our own. Now when something pops up, we're just like, nope, that's not for me. Nope, not part of my program. No, 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 no. I do not consent to this. Okay? I wanted to share with you a small list of ways I secure my own programming, because I feel like if I shared ways that I secure my own way of thinking, being, acting, and just, trying to stay happy and mellow and, exploring and creative, I wrote down things that I do. So maybe you can write these down or you can try to apply them. And this is not saying this is how to program yourself. This is how I manage to control my program from being controlled by somebody else. Okay, so I'm not telling you how to build your program. I'm just telling you how to maintain it and make sure you are doing your best to not let outside influences grab a hold of the reins. All right, so ways I secure my programming. 1, less is more with social media, you guys. Less is always more. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Tumblr. I don't have Snapchat. No, I don't need it. What do I need? What do I need that for? I am my own computer. I don't need all these other apps. My mom was a damn confident woman. A damn confident woman. And she never even had her finger on social media. It wasn't a thing in the 50s. It just wasn't a thing. So I'm kind of inspired by that. I'm inspired of the life pre-technology, because look at all of the art and the things that were created before social media. You know what I mean? Before the even internet existed. So I just think it's nice to remain in a innate state of operating, because we are an electrical being, don't get me wrong, but we're not just a robot. We're not just some computer, right? We're deeper than that. So our program is more important than anything out there, more important than social media, more important than a phone, more important than anything out there, all right? The other way I secure my programming is I write down my thoughts and my dreams the second I wake up, you guys. The second I wake up. This is honestly my dream journal. But if I wake up and I had a bad dream, a good dream, any type of dream, I don't want that narrative swimming around my head all day. It's cool, it's great, but it happened. But what happened in the past is part of the past. I need to experience the now, understand what I can learn from the now. I don't need to just sit here and dissect a dream I had, trying to find crack a code or look for an Easter egg. You know what I mean? Cool, we can, but no. We don't need to have thoughts circling in our head due to our astral exploring in our dream state, right? So when I wake up and I write things down, how I'm feeling, what I dreamt about, I will be in the mood to cry based off of my dream, but the second I write it down, it's almost like it's said and done, and I can close that book and it doesn't affect my program. But if I don't write it down and get it outside of the program, it stays inside my program and it just swims and swims and I'm just thinking about it all day. But for some reason, writing it down, casting it outside of my aura, it disappears. The energy is like relinquished with it. So try doing that. If you tend to dream a lot, or if your daydreams even tend to take a hold of you, try writing them down. Another thing that has really been helping me is minimizing my workouts. So I have been wanting to update my programming, and one of those is my health is not the best, my endurance is not the best, I don't feel strong and comfortable in my skin, right? So I wanted to fix that. But one of the things I know can happen is I can become very obsessed and addicted with certain things, and one of those is health, the way my body looks. And something I had to come to the understanding of was the previous body that I had, right, was a result of being an athlete. I'm no longer an athlete right now. So I had to come to the conclusion that I don't need to become obsessed with how I want my body to work, because I never have been and I never was. So if I now start trying to work from a new program that's comparing my old body to my body I have now, but not understanding that my lifestyle is completely different, I'm going to become obsessed with not only my workout itself, but with the results. And I never had that before. So I don't want to introduce something new to my program that I know will cause an issue, right? If I become obsessed with either working out to a certain extent, doing a certain amount of reps, expecting myself to look like I used to while I was a gymnast and didn't even do repetitions of anything, it was just a byproduct of spinning, twisting, and jumping in the air, that's really helped my current program, is minimizing my workouts. If I want to work out for 3 minutes, I work out for 3 minutes. I'm not going to completely dedicate myself to some fitness lifestyle, because that's not going to help my program at all. I'm just going to cause problems. So that's one thing that has helped me, is I want to be healthy, but I'm not going to become obsessed about my health. You know, if I want to look different, maybe I should start going on more hikes. Maybe I should start taking up a new sport. My next one is being aware of my obsessions and my addictions. So if you are aware of that you have an addictive personality, I've known since I was a kid. My mom warned me, we are addicts in this family. Be careful. If you have that in the back of your mind, you have to walk differently. You have to program yourself differently than a lot of other people. And that's okay, right? That's okay. So being aware that you can become obsessed about something or addicted to something is a huge help. It's a huge help to make sure that your program does not completely shut down. And another thing is, I love to research. So as long as I'm researching and learning new things, my program is expanding. It's almost like I'm upgrading just on the daily because of the way that I've allowed my routine to play itself out. I make sure that I'm researching. I try to make it to where my job allows me to do that too. I don't go to the news for my information, for any factual information. Like I said, if you want to make sure your program is okay, you do not believe the news programming. It's called programming for a reason. It's a television program. It's programming your head. It's even programming you to believe everything you see. Everything you see or hear, you believe it and nothing else to it. So it helps my program to stay away from the news outlets, right? It doesn't mean I still don't pay attention, because you still got to keep up to news with the Joneses sometimes, but I don't go for it to tell me how I need to live my life, what to expect in the day. Like, I don't trust the news. So that's really helped me. It's helped me keep my beliefs open, my perceptions open. It helps me not be so scared about things that I shouldn't or don't need to be scared of, The news loves to tell us about a million stories of things happening a million miles away when we're at peace where we are. But taking in all of this stress and all these ideas and then our imagination running with the stresses of the other people, no, they're trying to program us to be scared. And I'm not going to let that happen. I don't want to be scared. So I also listen to music less. When I do listen to music, I make sure that it's like something that maybe I just really enjoy the beat and there's not too many lyrics. Remember that one day I was joking around, I'm like, yeah, I listen to lyricless music. So yeah, I'll listen to a podcast. I'll turn on some funny little gematria video. But best believe I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to the music. I have no idea, who's even popular anymore. That's just helped. no TV. I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch Hulu, HBO Plus, Netflix Plus, you know all the words, Disney Plus. I just don't. I don't have a need to. And sadly, sometimes when I do watch a movie, I get bored so fast. So it's almost like it has to be more interesting than something I'm capable of finding myself. So when I know that sounds funny, but when you're watching a movie, you're literally just being shown stuff. Like, it's literally like, here, take it or leave it. And I'm like, I'd rather leave. So, yeah, I've just found that I have to use my own imagination to, like, entertain myself, right? I don't just know that I can go watch a TV show and be entertained for hours. I have to find a way to entertain myself. And I think that's what these poor children of these generations don't even have the ability to do. They don't know how to do it anymore. It's not a part of their program to use their imagination. I am telling you, it sickens me how many parents just slap a phone or an iPad in some child's hands and talk about somebody else programming your own child. Anyway, I like to be outside in nature, even if it's just sitting on my deck, even if it's sitting staring out my window like a dog. I love watching the birds. I will watch them eat. I will watch them play in a bird bath. I literally turned a salsa bowl that you can put a whole thing of chips in the middle, and then it had three built-in bowls for different salsas. It's this really cool contraption. But I was like, dude, that would make a perfect bird bath. So, and it does, and the birds freaking love it. So I just think it's nice that if we are going to be influenced by anything, it's by something that's so outside of our own matrix. Like the animal world and nature they have their own set of programming, their own rules that they have to live by. They're on a completely different dimension than us, it almost seems. I love watching and observing nature because their program positively impacts my program. Some people don't, and that's just something we have to accept sometimes. You know, sometimes we can't learn what we want to learn from people. We just can't. But if we go outside and say, dang, you know, I planted that seed a really long time ago, but it still came up with time and patience, nurture, and care. I could have stopped watering it. I could have just completely gave up, but no. You start learning how things evolve and grow, and that what was once just a leaf, a small little leaf, a single leaf with barely any small cells, is now a fruit or a whole flower. And it's saying like, hey, I feel like I'm that leaf right now, but with the right time and the right programming, I'm going to develop into a flower, right? But if you don't program yourself right and you don't develop correctly, you don't update yourself, it's not going to happen. With my dogs, with my fish, anything, you guys. Humans are not the only thing out there that are there to learn from. You know what I mean? Books aren't the only thing to learn from. Music's not the only thing to learn from. A podcast. You know, sometimes just sitting in silence and observing is its own state of peace and tranquility and zen. I like to read because it gives me a means to practice keeping my beliefs open-ended, right? If I'm reading all of these different books with all these different concepts and theories and all this stuff, different things about philosophy and all these ideas about how the world can come to be, the more I read, the more my imagination can grow. And the reason my imagination can grow is because I'm not putting a lock on a set of beliefs, you know? I'm not just reading one book and being like, oh, okay, yep, that's how it is. I don't need to read anything else. I just need to read this over and over and over again, you know? We don't have to work that way. And there's so many books out there, and books make us use our imagination so much more than a video does, than a movie will. Even just listening to a podcast, you know, you're using your brain, you're reading, you're decoding. Your imagination is working all at the same time. It's making you think, it's making you emotional, you know? So I honestly think that reading is a great tool to almost test yourself, to see like, can I read this and, you know, just take what I need, take the bits and then leave the rest? Or am I going to soak this all in, reprogram myself, and live based off of what this author just wrote? So I just think that's kind of fun. Practicing active positive thinking. I've literally fallen into the habit of if I'm driving somewhere and I see somebody on a walk or see somebody walking their dog, I literally I tell them telepathically, I hope you have a great dinner tonight. Like, I literally hope that you enjoy your food. I hope you go home and relax, you know? And I'm not just thinking it to think it. I'm literally trying to project my positivity, my, you know, my care and gratitude towards these people. And it as I had said, it's helped me reprogram my brain to now it's almost happening just unconsciously. When I see somebody, I'm just like, you know, I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you get to where you're going and you have fun, you know? I hope your dog is happy. Like, just little things like that. I hope, like, this girl was wearing beautiful pants. Again, I told you, I keep seeing all these beautiful people and I need to tell them. But if I don't tell them, I at least think it, you know? And I'm just like, dang, I'm so happy that you woke up and wanted to put those pants on today. Like, there's thoughts like those. They help my program get a boost of just, I don't know, positivity. Getting healthy again and listening to my body and not others has really helped me. And my last thing that I have on my list is reminding myself that I am in control of me. I'm in control of my programming. I'm in control of my emotions, my perceptions. If they're negative, I can't be mad at the world. I really cannot be mad at the world. I cannot. And I'm telling you, if you are sad, anxious, you cannot be mad at the world. We just have to sit down and reprogram the program inside of us. I promise. I promise you. So I wrote this down too. Like a computer, pick your home screen wisely. Trash and get rid of what you don't need and keep yourself energized. You know when you got to school those one days and you were just like, oh my God, I forgot to charge my laptop. Great. That's how our own programming is inside of us. If we forget to charge ourselves, keep ourselves energized, feed what we need, thoughts, energy, food, you know, sunlight. And if we don't keep ourselves clean, it's not going to work. So imagine, have you ever had that too? Happens on my phone all the freaking time. If I don't clear up my storage and I just keep trying to take pictures or record videos, there comes a time where all of a sudden my phone says, sorry honey, you can't take a picture of this beautiful duck that you have never seen before in your life because you haven't cleaned up your stuff. That's how our inside works. There becomes a point where our trash bin is just so filled with bullshit that even if you try to place one more thing inside, you try to learn something new. You're at maximum capacity, honey. The screen is literally saying, I can't take any more. I'm sorry. That happens, you guys. It seriously happens. We can get our program so filled with just junk mail and we forgot to empty the trash can that the positive things that should stick with us and sink into those holes, it can't. Like, there will be a point in life where literally nothing negative nor positive can even affect you anymore because you're just so full of too much stuff. Right? You are going to be unable to perform to your ultimate capability. And we all want to be able to perform to our ultimate capability. And it's gaining awareness that our old programs can't fit our current environments. It really can't. Like I said, my 6-year-old program is not going to work in my reality right now. Like, instead of me coming to terms with my parents' death, I would have probably thought, oh, a mommy fairy came to took my mommy. She's not really gone. She's on vacation and she'll be back. Like, you know, we can't live in our old programs and, you know, our new environments. It just won't work. And I just wanted to say one last thing. It is perfectly okay to stop and restart with a new perspective, a new outlook, and a new smile. You can literally say, you know what? Say like you don't want to be best friends with your friend anymore. You don't want to be with your girlfriend or boyfriend anymore. You want to restart. Like, you're like, yo, I need a complete, everything needs out. Out. It is okay. You are only this age once, right? You will only have this way of thinking once. You only have this opportunity once. Take advantage of it. You are in control. You are in complete control. Say something to your friends. Say something to your significant other and say, you know what? I'm going to think for myself. And if you don't like it, you can get out. Period. Seriously. Don't keep, like, if somebody else is being a bug to your system, do not downgrade your system to put up with somebody else's. Don't do it. Don't. Talk about backtracking, and that might freeze up your system. Like, you literally might freeze up and just like, oh no. You really break. So that is the end of my little notebook. I just wanted to take this little time to just tell you, we need to be in control of our own program, okay? We need to be aware and alert of all of the endless things out there trying to gain control of our program. And we need to understand the red flags of our program. We need to understand how to maintain our program, how to upgrade our program. And I really hope that this video helped you. I hope it got your brain turning in different ways. Or maybe it was just a reminder of something you already knew but needed to be reminded of. But I'm in the process of reprogramming myself. It's a beautiful journey, and I welcome you to your reprogramming, and I hope you have a fun journey. You know, don't be too hard on yourself. Get out a notebook and write some things down so, 10 years from now you can look back and be like, damn, I remember the second I restarted my program and look at where it brought me. That's where it's beauty. It won't happen overnight, you guys. It won't happen in a week, in a month, or even a year. You gotta reprogram. It takes time. It takes time. So we just have to love the journey and be empowered by the fact that you are in control of your own program and that nobody can tamper it if you're careful. Nobody can even intrude on it, right? Because your protective layer is just, it's radiating, And I don't say a protective layer as in, living in a box or not opening up yourself to people or to the world, Like I said, your aura and your programming is your safeguard. So keep that in mind. Maybe one day my upgraded program will result in me sweating less. Until then, I take that as a red flag. I'm just joking. So, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Please don't forget to eat. Eat. Don't forget to get some sunlight. Don't forget to go stare at a bird. And as I had always said, if you ever just feel like nobody gets you, if you feel like you're just like, damn it, I feel you, okay? So you can at least be like, you know what? Sarah would get it if I told her this. She would be like, you know what? I gotcha. So, yeah. Just remember, you are never alone. I am always here. Yeah. So, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And thanks for watching this. This is a long video, but I thank you for watching it. Bye.